restoring Illinois to greatness. This is Illinois Rising, presented by the Illinois Policy Institute and hosted by AM 560's Dan Proft.
Dan Proft back with Cole Lauterbach, reporter for the Illinois News Network, on this edition of Illinois Rising. And Cole, I've often thought about leaving the world of politics and media behind and going to open a flower shop. And now I don't have to do bricks and mortar in Chicago anymore. I can do a flower cart. The Illinois Policy Institute led the fight for food carts successfully, such that food carts are now street legal in Chicago. But apparently it turns out there was an ordinance that dates some 70 years that prohibited flower carts, prohibited sales of flowers on the street. You had to have a brick and mortar building. Now that has been changed, and we have the first flower truck operating in the city of Chicago. Its operator is Stephen Dime, and he joins us now. Stephen, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
No problem. I'm excited to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your business and the genesis of it now that you're allowed to roam the streets of Chicago selling flowers.
Yeah, it's big news in our part of the world. We started our business in 2012. It's called Flowers for Dreams. It's an online flower service. You can visit it at flowersfordreams.com, and we sell locally crafted flowers from right here in Chicago to other people only right here in Chicago for what we say fair and honest prices with free delivery. And every bouquet benefits an amazing local charity. We give a quarter of our profits each and every month to a different charity here in Chicago.
Now, Stephen, it's why now? Why was this ever an illegal activity? I mean, is Chicago been long in bed with Big Flower on this?
Right.
What was the synthesis behind the laws forbidding you from selling flowers mobily?
So you bring up an interesting point. So I didn't know that there would be ever such a thing as Big Flower or a flower lobby per se, but it's one of those unfortunately classic Chicago political stories that we learned as we started to fight it about a year ago. So there's been this peddling ordinance on the books, peddling ban, I should say, on the books, put in the city council in 1943 by the then chairman of the finance committee, John Duffy.
Oh, I thought I still had Burke back then. No, it's changed in 80, 70 years. Yeah.
We got to thank Alderman Burke because he was actually he helped to change course and kind of right hopefully what I would think is kind of a wrong that just should never have been there. The same conversation and debate happened with food trucks a couple of years ago. It's really the debate between do you want kind of an open competition or a free market to be a little more philosophical, or do you want kind of protectionist and kind of entrenched interests? So we really fought to get flowers on the streets as long as they're being sanctioned and licensed to do so. And since 1943, it hasn't been that way because of someone who owned a huge network of flower shops here in the city.
And so speaking of which, how is Big Flower reacting to the legalization of these flower trucks like the one you're operating?
Not particularly well. We've gotten a little bit of blowback. I mean, we designed our business for the customer. We didn't design our business for Big Flower, which is a funny term every time I think we say it. But so, our customers enjoying it. They're able to interact with our brand and our flowers more often in more places. And our whole premise of our business is being accessible and being very community driven. But yeah, we've gotten some negative blowback from the Illinois State Florist Association, and that's understandable. They obviously are protecting their own interests, and they have a right to do so. But we're really excited that we're moving this forward, and we hope more people join us with flower trucks, flower carts, and flowers on the street.
And you mentioned there's an association, because of course there is for any type of special interest in this state. Do you feel like it would just go back to the fact that you're not paying Chicago's exorbitant property taxes in this situation, and the ones that are going to their politicians saying, well, look, if you're going to charge us through the nose on these property taxes, we want you to protect our interests, and then we'll continue to pay you these massive amounts of taxes, these fees, but you need to make sure that we have an edge on this market and we're protected. Is that what came across to you?
Yeah, and I think there's a just argument on both sides, but where does the line kind of get drawn was our opinion. We're paying sales tax here in the city. we're in the city. We're going to get the licenses and pay the licensing fees to do so here in the city. So, I mean, at what point do these taxes become more protected and these taxpayers become less protected? I mean, so, it's kind of, and our consumers are paying that sales tax, through us. So I think it's and we're contributing to the community. We've contributed over $150,000 to local charities since we began our startup 3.5 years ago, all Chicago charities. So it's kind of, I guess, who do you want to favor? What taxes do you want to respect more? So I think, again, it's a tough and blurry place to create the argument, in my opinion.
I didn't know the flower cartel was so strong. Maybe I don't want to go into the florist business. It sounds pretty rough and tumble. And just a little bit of an understanding of how this works, whether it's kind of flower carts ultimately or a flower truck like yours. I mean, is it like a food cart or a food truck where you're looking at locating in high traffic areas and corporate settings and that sort of thing? How do you move product?
Yeah, so I mean, for us, in our particular instance, we got a flower truck. It was a former post office truck from the 1990s. It's a little bit different than the normal kind of a food truck. We've got a bike on the front because we do most of our flower delivery by bicycle. So it actually serves also as a little bit of a hub and spoke, so we can meet our bike couriers in the city when they're coming back for second and third routes to give them more bouquets to deliver to our customers. So it serves that purpose operationally, but then it's also kind of promotional as well as sales. So we're selling flowers out of it, but we're also letting people interact with our brand all across the city in every neighborhood where our customers exist. And, we're going to high traffic locations. In fact, this morning we were out by Chicago OTC, Oval Beach train station, again, introducing people to our brand, letting people who already know us interact with us, and we're going to be all around the city this summer.
All right. He is Stephen Dime. He's the owner-operator of Flowers for Dreams.
That's right.
And the website?
flowersfordreams.com.
All right. Stephen Dime, thanks so much for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing your trucks around town.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.